Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Brad Smith. Brad is the CEO of Stellar Insight Inc. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Brad Smith. Brad, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
My second wife, now ex-wife, uh, about 3 months after we were married in 1996, brought me an article uh, in the Sunday Oregonian that said, she said, Brad, this is the quote, Brad, this woman does executive coaching. You need to call these people, which was Coach University. You need to call these people. You're already doing this. You might as well get paid for what you're doing. So it took me a month or two to kind of work that through, but I got into their training and it just felt natural. So that was the inspiration. The other piece behind that, oh, there's two, but we'll start with one. The other piece is I watched my dad growing up. I watched my dad be involved in the startup of 34 different companies and kill 30 of them because he was a product guy, not a business guy. But he, which, all the stories came through the house and it frustrated me because it's like, why why didn't you just pick these 6 or 7 and make them work, right? Instead of the 34. So part of the reason I do what I do is because I would like to give back to the inspirations and the guidance and education he gave me through that.
What are the top 3 reasons why do people fail?
Most of the time, when we get into a situation, um, we don't understand why we're not successful. Part of that is us. The big first piece is us, right? The second piece is clarity. And the third piece is people are just unwilling to be uncomfortable and fail regularly. They've forgotten that when they learned how to walk, they spent the first, few months of their life, when they were learning how to walk, falling down constantly. They'd stand up, they'd fall down. They'd stand up, they'd fall down. Business is the same way. Failure isn't wrong. Quitting is what makes you actually a failure.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
My biggest failure story was actually the biggest gift I ever had in my life. Um, when I was 18, fall term freshman year at Oregon State, I developed my first time away from home. Right, I developed a bleeding ulcerated colon. And when I got to the doctor, here's the quotes. When I got to the doctor in December, first thing he said was, gee, Brad, if you'd have waited 6 weeks to come see me, you'd have bled to death. So he had an 18-year-old on his hands. He wanted my attention. He had it. Then he said, you'll never eat strawberries, corn, or lettuce or anything else with roughage ever again in your life. And my 18-year-old brain said, fat gents, buddy, that ain't happening. And then he said, you have a psychosomatic disease. Your emotions affect the severity of your symptoms. And in that moment, I made the commitment to myself to conquer it. Didn't matter what it was. I believed in cause and effect. I'd been raised in a chemistry household. I was in the middle of a degree, pursuing a degree in, at that point, chemical engineering. So chemistry was put stuff in a beaker, understand the requirements, and watch how the results come out. So I believed that if I went back into the depth of who I was, understood how I chose specific emotions and had them show up in my life, if I changed that, then I could get rid of the disease. And I did that. It took me some time, but I conquered it. Also learned how to understand the depth of being a human being. And as a result of that, with the business coaching, help people understand their first obstacle is themselves.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
First, be self-aware. If you're not self-aware, you can't be other-aware. If you're not other-aware, then how are you going to know your market? So first thing is be self-aware, right? The second thing is take responsibility for everything that's in your life that's impactful. If it's painful, somewhere deep in you is the cause. So that's the second one. And the third one is be proactive. In other words, think ahead. What is it? What do you want to see at the end of your career? What things do you want to see when you stop working? What do you want to see in your life at the day before you die? And then march it back to today. And what are the things you have to do today, this week, this month, in order to have those things happen? Link all of those 30, 40 years together and be proactive.
What motivates you within?
I know that I can always learn. And if I learn, I can be better. And so I like challenge. And every time life shows up or a new client shows up and they've got certain things going on, I have the opportunity to help them recreate where they are. And that motivates me. I like the big hills.
What is your company's motto?
Um, Igniting business growth. In other words, I want to help you figure out how to inspire yourself and how to have you help learn to re-inspire everybody that's in your company.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is someone who's ambitious and curious and somewhere north of a couple $1 million a year.
How do you find your ideal client?
Well, that's part of why I'm here. I have the opportunities to be in front of people. I have the opportunity to talk to someone. And when I have that opportunity, if they are ambitious and open, like curious, that's a good ideal client for me. That's how I find them.
How do you engage your ideal client?
Conversations, mostly either phone or a video. I started that. My MBA project, capstone project, was how to set up an office in a long distance, and that was in 1991 before we had the internet. It's a lot easier now. So I engage distance.
What are your well-defined products or services?
Um, I help my clients go from where they are to where they want to go. In other words, it's a coaching process, repeated conversations over three a month, and that's the first thing that I do with my clients. I talk to them. If in the process it shows up that they don't have a well-defined company vision, then we do a company. Some people call it strategic planning process. Those are the two services that I offer. Do it for individuals and for teams together.
Why someone should buy from you?
Because if they can't get where they want to go on their own, not everybody has all the answers, and some people are actually willing to admit that they don't have all the answers. Brainstorming partners, which is what I am, help us expand our mental capability. And if you're open to collaborations, you'll get there faster, considerably faster.
How do you crush your competition?
I am a 25-year meditator, and I know all the steps I went through to create the depth of intuition that I have. Most of the time, I know before my clients voice it what their issues are once we've established the relationship. So I crush my competition because I have deeper intuition than they do, and all the depths of experience.
How do you deliver a five-star client experience?
uh, by having them achieve the things they can just barely think of. In other words, I want to double the size of my company. Well, what happens if we added a zero instead and we actually achieve that? And I've done that.
How do you use your sales proposals to close more deals?
Good question. Um, I just have conversations with my clients, the potential clients, and if they're willing to spend an hour with me and there's a good match between who they are and we can build rapport, that's how I close more deals. Rapport.
How do you convert your clients into your brand ambassadors?
Uh, that part I have not figured out. I have people that rave about me, but that's the point. Still working
How,
on that one.
how do you handle rejections?
Well, if someone is not open to suggestion and there's no rapport, then there's not going to be an effective set of tractions. I don't have to worry about it because then it's about who they are and who I am, and the match doesn't happen.
How do you handle an angry client?
I've never had one.
We are about to move into lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Yep.
What are you grateful for today?
Today, I'm grateful that I still get to breathe. We've had COVID this year, and I still have the opportunity to breathe every day. I love that.
How do you start your day?
I roll out of bed. I do yoga for just a little bit. I have meditations that I do. I go down, fix my oatmeal, do 50 push ups while it's cooking, and then go back up and kind of start my day from there.
How young are you?
I am 71. It means I've been here. As my dad used to say, that makes me old enough to know better and young enough to do something about it.
Brad, you are not 71. You are 18 years old with 53 years experience.
There we go. Thank you.
What you want to do when you grow up?
I think my next level of ambition is I want to continue to coach CEOs and um, uh, companies, but I also would like to coach governors and heads of state because there's only one of me. And yeah, I have other people I can draw in and have beyond me, but there's only one of me, and the impact I get to have on the world depends on their leverage, not mine. So I want to do that.
What is your plan to achieve your goal?
Um, Part of that is credibility. Part of that is I've got a book or two to write, actually 3 or 4. And I've started that process. Publish the books, do speaking so that I build credibility into the world, and then start conversations with people that are important. There are things in this world that we can conquer, but we all have to deal with it. We all have to be involved. And I would like to have some of those things happen. One of those is illiteracy. One of those actually is child abuse. Another one is murder. Those we don't actually have to have, but we have to evolve all of us on the planet in order to be able to do that.
How will you feel in case you don't achieve your goal?
Well, you can only start climbing a mountain one step at a time. So if you take a few steps down the road and you get part way, and then you've at least made the effort and you've pursued it. If I leave the planet before then, I'm okay with that. I've pursued.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Learning, I look at it, I look at myself, I understand how much of it I caused, and then I retrain myself into the new skills I have so that that's no longer a challenge. That includes everything. Learning.
What is the advice you will give to a younger yourself?
Start sooner, learn faster, and be willing. And I have been.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Well, first I have to find her. But other than that, conversations, find out from her motivation what's important to her, because that's part of being in a deep relationship. And as you learn more about what's important to them, then you can start from their motivation into what's possible and co-create that with them.
Who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
All of my mentors currently are not alive physically. And so The impact of that is I get to learn constantly every day, deeper and deeper into who I am and out more further into who I am into the world. And I learn that constantly, literally daily. It's pretty amazing. And then everybody that shows up in my life, I consider a mentor. If you're in front of me and I'm talking with you, I'm learning from you.
Just curious, are you part of any mastermind?
No, not at the moment. Well, that's not true. I think I actually just joined one like 2 days ago. So it's a group. It's
Okay,
pretty
tell
fun.
us more about that one.
No, actually, I can't. It's too new. But it's 3 different guys. We've got 3 different sets of skills, and we're uh, going after a process to help us become better and learn from each other. And I like that a lot. That's about all I can say.
And why being impactful is important to you?
If I learn something and I see someone in front of me and I read the gaps in who they are, and I can say something to them to help them take a half inch faster, sooner step in their growth. Half inch, right? An inch, whatever. They are better permanently for the rest of their life. That's impactful. That's important to me because they're better.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Having a significant impact on every person I talk to that's open to it.
How can we support you?
If you're ambitious and curious, go to my website right there and set up a conversation with me. That would be so fun. If you're ambitious and curious, let's just go.
We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have you a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here's my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
It's been fun. Thank you.
What would you say as the final word?
Take responsibility for your life. There is nothing in front of you between that will stop you from achieving the things that are possible. Look at it this way. If someone in the world has become a billionaire, why can't you? Go for it. If that's an important goal.
Thank you so much, Brad, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.